Welcome to the post-game show for group number 4. Now you might be asking yourself, oh wait, there's 2 more battles that should happen. And I'll explain that in a moment, why we're doing the post-game show now. So it recently, and very recently, came to my attention that there has been a major error in this group. And that error is that Rabout Gillimon here, who is the warlord for the Ultramarines, apparently his points changed in the chapter approved book, and I did not realize it. And not only did I not realize it, but Army Builder didn't realize that either, because I put him in the army at only 360 points, not 385. And so therefore, the Ultramarines have gone through this entire group with 1,875 points, while all 3 of the other armies stayed within the 1,850 point limit. And so I do greatly apologize about that. I'm very upset about that myself, because that makes me wonder, is that why they swept the Death Guard in Khorne, was because of those extra 25 points? Did they play a role? Did they not? Regardless, though, they have been playing with an illegal list, and whether or not those points actually made a difference doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, I messed up and gave them an army that they should not have been able to bring, and therefore, it kind of renders the rest of this group not worth playing, since the only 2 games left have the Ultramarines in them. And so at this point, I am going to make an executive decision and disqualify the Ultramarines from the group, since they were playing with an illegal list. Which means, of course, since all of the games between Death Guard, Tzeentch, and Khorne amongst themselves have already been completed, we can give the final score for those 3 armies. And so in first place, we have Tzeentch with 4 wins and 2 losses. In second place, we have Mortarion and the Death Guard, who have 3 wins and 3 losses. And in third and final place, we have the Chaos Demons of Khorne, led by Skarbrand, with 2 wins and 4 losses. And I think it's extra deserving that Tzeentch gets first place in all of this, because with their 1 game against the Ultramarines, they crushingly won against an army that had 25 more points than them. Shows how good the Tzeentch army was. But I do apologize about that. I hope everyone's not too disappointed in that. I hope that doesn't ruin the enjoyment of the battle reports. They were still incredibly fun to play, and I didn't even feel like there was much of a difference in terms of the points. I didn't feel like those points made a difference when I was playing. It was clearly the luck of the dice and the drawing of tactical objective cards that decided the games. I don't think 25 points made a difference, but that doesn't change the fact that it's still an illegal list, and they can't bring that. It'd be like a football team, American football team, having 12 guys on the field while the other team only has 11. So, that's just not going to work. And that's not fair to the other armies. So some of my final thoughts on the group, obviously I can't really say much about the Ultramarines because they weren't playing with the correct list. So just talking about Tzeentch, Khorne, and Nurgle, there are some changes I would make to each list. For the Tzeentch list, I would take out the 2 Soul Grinders and put in another Lord of Change and maybe a squad of Screamers or something. I don't really feel like the Soul Grinders did much to help the army, and they would have been better off with another large monstrous creature that has psychic powers. For Khorne, I would completely change the whole army. To be fair, I'd never played Chaos Demons of Khorne before this group, so those 3 games against the Death Guard were my first 3 games with Chaos Demons of Khorne ever, and it clearly showed because I had no idea what I was doing with them. But Skarbrand is definitely overpriced for what he gives. Definitely need to bring more Bloodletters and have them deep strike in thanks to Denizens of the Warp. More Demon Princes, and I would not bring Skull Reaver again. I would bring 2 sets of Malefic Talons, and if I was going to bring an artifact, I would bring the Armor of Scorn, which would give a Deny the Witch test. So that would be helpful. As some people in the comments have suggested, and I totally agree with, I would want to bring more Fleshhounds. Unfortunately, I only own the 8 Fleshhounds, so I'll have to get some more before the next list, but we'll definitely want to incorporate in more squads of Fleshhounds, because they did decently well. They survived long enough, but the fact that they give that Deny the Witch ability is just invaluable when going up against Psychers, and of course Tzeentch and Death Guard brought plenty of Psychers apiece. The Death Guard list, I would not bring the close combat Plague Marines again. Not against armies that can have plenty of invulnerable saves, because they did nothing. That was the big waste of points in terms of upgrades. Be far better off with Plague Marines armed with bolt guns and plasma guns to take advantage of the fact that they get to have rapid fire at 18 inches instead of 12, thanks to their Death Guard ability. I mean, that's so nice. Turn 1, disembark from the Land Raider, and then move up another 5 inches and be within 18 inches. Disembark within 3, I should say, and then move up 5, and then have 18-inch rapid fire. That's so nice. That's so much better than trying to get them up in close combat. So, minor changes to Tzeentch and Death Guard, major changes to Khorne. Obviously, would need to make changes to the Ultramarines just to get them within legal points. I will say I thought it was interesting having the aura of abilities affecting 2 big vehicles with lots of weapons, but I think I'd rather have Land Raiders just for the last cannons and also the higher toughness and better armor value, especially since the Storm Ravens don't have an invuln. I mean, we saw against Magnus in the 1 battle and against Mortarion as well, having only a 3-up armor save and being toughness 7, it was so easy to kill in close combat when attacking with a large monstrous creature like Mortarion or Magnus. They just went down way too easily. So once again, I do greatly apologize for bringing an illegal list on the Ultramarines. I had no idea up until recently that he had changed. I mean, in fact, the only reason I knew that he changed in the first place to 385 points was because of the big FAQ that just recently came out, which changed him to 400 points. So of course he went up again. But I read an article about its release, and the author of the article mentioned that Guilmon had gone up in points again, and of course that was news to me because I didn't realize he'd gone up at all in the first place once before. And so I go back and look, and of course, what do you know, there it is in the chapter approved book, in a completely separate column from where the rest of the Adeptus Astartes information is. But that's still, the responsibility for that still ends up on me since I created the list, and it's my responsibility and job to double check that, so I'm not going to try to make an excuse for that. It's just very irritating for me and quite embarrassing. So I hope everyone isn't too upset about that. Once again, in terms of the group, we will disqualify the Ultramarines from the final score because otherwise it wouldn't be fair to the other armies. I still thought the Ultramarines battle reports were enjoyable, but it also maybe kind of explains why they managed to go 6-0. Of course, the problem with this though is I had planned on filming and editing and uploading 2 more Tzeentch versus Ultramarines battle reports, and so now that plan's gone out the window. So I don't have anything at all ready to go, and with the new big FAQ, the armies that I was going to bring in the next group probably have to be altered to account for the points changes. And so it might be, unfortunately, another week or 2 before another video comes up, so I do apologize for that. If it's going to be delayed further, I might make an extra video to explain that, but I do apologize. I do hope that they were enjoyable battle reports, even though the Ultramarines were playing with extra points. So I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Thank you for your understanding, and stay tuned for the next one.